Hello kids, welcome to Achievers. In today's video, we are going to talk about the crop production and management. This is the chapter 1 of class 8 in CBSE classes. In this chapter, we are going to talk about the basic steps which are involved with this crop production and also discuss that how these all crops which we use, all the cereals and pulses we use, what are the basic steps which are involved in producing them, and we'll also understand the importance of knowing it. But let's begin with the first inspirational thought. The thought is the secret of getting ahead is just getting started. So whatever you want to achieve, just begin. So you will achieve the target or the goal which you want to achieve. Correct? Let's begin with our main topic, that sometimes we think that why do we need to know about crop production and management? I'm not directly related with the crop production. Then what is the importance of knowing it for me? The most important things that which you should know is that the agriculture industry and the allied industries with it are providing employment to 55% of population. Correct? The next important thing is that 14% of our GDP is coming from agriculture and related industries. The next important point is it also contributes to 10% of our country's export. That means out of total export which we are doing from our country, 10% is coming from the agriculture and related industries. That means the products which we make from using different cereals, pulses and all the food grains. Correct? The next important point is that there is a lot of progress which we have done from the time of independence. When we got independence, there was a scarcity of food grains for some of them, but over the time we used good quality hybrid seeds, we brought new technologies into the agriculture and the production increased. But in future, because the demand of food grains is increasing constantly with increase in population. So here what we need to know that there is a further scope for improvement in agriculture sector, so which we need to know. And how we can do this? Again, we can we can encourage more and more people to use more of hybrid seeds. Hybrid seeds means the good production or the good quality seeds which the farmer can use, which may be using less amount of water, which may be having less time in which they can mature. So all those points we will be discussing in further detail in the next videos also. But these are the points which we need to know. Either we are directly related with the agriculture sector or we are not related. Correct? The next point which is important is when we are talking about crops. The first point we should know that what is crop. If I take few seeds and sow them outside my house, is it crop? Can I call it crop? No. Because crop is something when one variety of seeds or one variety of food grain, let it be rice or wheat or pulses, when they are grown over a large area, then that is called as a crop. If I am growing rice, that means I might be growing rice on 1 acre of land. That can be called as a crop. Correct? There are different types of crops which are there, which the farmers grow, which we have. The basic types are these. The first one is this: food crops and cash crops. The food crops, as the word itself is indicating, that means these are the crops which we grow for getting the food grains. Correct? It can be grains or like rice, wheat, pulses. There can be another type, that is cash crop, and the word is indicating cash. That means the farmers grow those types of crops for getting the cash from that. That means the farmer will sell that product in the market and will get the money from it and will use for its activities. The next division which we can do is of the different types of crops on the basis that in which season they are grown. Correct? So accordingly we can divide them into the Rabi crops and Kharif crops. Now what are Rabi crops? Rabi crops are the crops which are grown during October to December. That means after Diwali, the crops which are grown are the Rabi crops. Correct? Like wheat is grown, mustard is grown, gram is grown, peas are grown. And you can understand that you always get the peas in the January month. That means these are the Rabi crops. If you will cross any area, then you might be finding, if you have fields around you, you will find the wheat growing in the December, January, which matures in the March, and we cut them at that time, harvest them at that time. Now second type of crop, that is Kharif crop. Now Kharif crop is grown during June, July, after the monsoon. Once we receive good amount of rain and the fields have absorbed good amount of rainwater, then we grow the Kharif crops, which includes like it can be rice, it can be cotton, it can be maize, it can be some of the pulses. So those are all Kharif crops. So these are the basic types of crops which the farmers grow. Now the next thing which we need to know is about the agricultural practices. Now what are these agriculture practices? That means what are the different steps which are involved in growing crops, correct? Which can include these all steps. The first and most important step is the preparation of soil. Before you sow any seeds in the field, the soil has to be prepared for receiving the seeds and for the proper growth of the seeds. So the preparation of seeds is the first, soil is a first step. So preparation of soil is first step. Second step is sowing the seeds. Once the soil is prepared, sowing of seeds has to be done. Third step is the manure and fertilizers has to be provided to the crop. Third is irrigating the crops. So if the sufficient amount of rainwater is not received at that time, then artificially the plant has to be provided with the water, and that is called as irrigation. The next is the plants are growing at a good rate. We are providing them manure, fertilizers, water. Now along with the plants, might be possible that there are some unwanted plants which will also grow, which are called as weeds, and removal of those weeds or unwanted plant is called as weeding. And the next thing is, along with not only weeds, there may be some insects, some unwanted insects, especially which are called as pests. They may be growing in the crops and they has to be removed from that, and for that pesticides are used and many other methods are adopted. So the protection from the weeds and pests has to be done. The next thing is, once this is done, and once a crop has matured, the crops have matured, it has developed a good amount of good fruits and seeds and inside that everything, correct? Then it is harvested. That means cut from the field. The next step is the threshing is done and the winnowing is done. Threshing means when the stalk and the seeds are separated. Correct? The seeds are separated, like the wheat from the whole plant will be separated and the wheat seeds will be separated. That is called as threshing. And once threshing is done, the next step which we have to do is winnowing. What do we do in winnowing? Once the seeds have been separated by threshing, they will be containing some of the small parts of the stalk also. So using the wind, the winnowing is done, where with the help of wind, the lighter stalk parts will be removed and the grains will be separated. Correct? After these three steps has been done, the next we have to do is storing the grains. Correct? And before the farmers store the grains, what they generally do is to let the seeds dry in the sun for some time. Why do they let it dry? So that the moisture content will reduce and the plants will not catch any fungal growth or insects will not be able to grow in that. We will be discussing this topic also in further detail in the next. For now, the basic first step, as we discussed, is the most important step. In that we have to talk about what the steps which are involved in soil preparation. The soil preparation involves these two steps. The first one is the ploughing, okay, which is also called as tilling, and the second is leveling. Now in ploughing, as it is also called, why it is called tilling also? Because in ploughing, which is done using tractors, if you will see them like this, that the plough has this shape. So once this is done, what happens? The new soil comes up, or new soil is, the soil is tilted. That means the new soil will come up. And once the new soil will come up and the huge pieces of that soil will be formed in the field, so leveling has to be done. So once the plowing is done, the next step done is the leveling, making the soil at a one level. Okay, now what are the benefits of this preparation of soil? The first important point is the nutrient rich soil comes up. It is very important that why it is so? Because once we have grown crop over in that field in one season, the nutrients from that top layer of the soil has been absorbed by the plants, the crop. Correct? So now what has to be done? This soil can go down and the new soil can come up. So once the new soil will come up, then that will have more nutrients and the plants will grow very properly. So the nutrient rich soil coming up is very important. The next thing is the soil become loose. Once we plow the field, the soil has become loose, and that loose soil will retain a lot of water and air. Now both has very important role in the development or growth of roots. The roots will be able to grow very properly in that loose and well aerated, well watered soil. And the next thing is, important thing is that when the roots will grow properly, then it will absorb good amount of nutrients and the plant will grow properly. Correct? And the other thing is that when we are doing tilling, then what is happening? The soil has become loose. So in that soil, when we will spread or give the fertilizers, then they will also mix very properly. And another thing is, when the manure which we are providing to the crop, the microorganisms, the worms, the insects will be able to grow very properly in this loose soil. Fine. So these are the all benefits. And as you are aware, when we talk about earthworm, we say that earthworm is a farmer of a friend. Why do we say that? Because when the earthworm will eat up that organic matter, it will break down that into nutrients. And same is done by the microorganisms. Correct? And when the nutrients will be easily available to the crops for growing, they will grow at a good rate. Correct? So that is how the soil preparation helps. The next thing we need to understand that there are several tools are used or machinery is used in the agriculture field. So they are like commonly used tools are, which we call as we call them as agricultural implements also. And the commonly used ones are the plow, which we use for plowing, hoe, sickle for harvesting, cultivator machine, seed drill for sowing seeds, combine, harvester and thresher. Thresher is for threshing, harvester is for harvesting, that means cutting the crop, and this combine has the features of both the harvester and thresher. So these are some of the images of the commonly used agriculture implements. Like this is the olden days we used to use the plow. This is that plow. This is the second, the plow which is attached with the tractor here. Correct? You can see here this is a combine. This is also a combine. Here you can see that this is doing harvesting first. That is harvesting the corn crop, and then once it is harvested, then it will be done threshing also, and the seeds will be separated. And this is the sickle which was used and is also used in some of the areas for cutting the crops. Fine. So these are the basic agriculture implements which are used. The next step is sowing the seeds. Now in sowing the seeds, what are the points which we should take care? The first and most important is that the quality seeds should be used. Correct? If the seeds will not be of good quality, then the crop will not be of good quality. Correct? So the second important point we have to take care is that the seed should be sown at a proper distance and depth. Distance means one has been grown here, then next is after some distance, the next is after some more distance. Correct? So the proper distance has to be maintained between two seeds, two plants. Fine. And secondly, it has to be sown at a proper depth. It should not be put so much deep into the soil, or it should not remain on the top of the soil. If it will remain on the top of the soil, the birds will eat up away. eat the seeds away, correct? And if it will be too deep into the soil, then the plant will not be able to come up crossing so many layers of soil. So that points we have to take care. And the third point we have to take care is that the seed should be disease free. That means there should be no insects growing or any other fungal growth on the seeds or something. Fine. So this is a very important point. Now this is the once we are ready for sowing. Now how will we sow? There are different methods of sowing as well. I'm discussing in this two methods. First one is broadcasting. Now what is broadcasting? That means the farmer will take the seeds in the hand and it will scatter those seeds in the field. Okay, so you can understand this is not such a good method, because the seeds will not be spread equally in a whole area. Secondly, there will be less distance between the seeds and all those conditions. Fine. So this is not such a good method, but is adopted for some of the crops. And the second one is the using seed drill. Now this is attached with the tractor, and in olden days there used to be a funnel shaped structure, and through that funnel the farmer used to put the seeds in it. Along with the plow, that funnel was attached and the farmer used to put the seeds in that funnel shaped structure, and that was used for sowing the seeds. That was attached with the oxes. Okay, and nowadays it is attached with the tractor. So behind the tractor there is a box like structure, in that seeds are put, and it is attached with the plow, and the seeds are put at a proper distance and at a proper depth. So using seed drill is a better method of sowing the seeds. For today I'm discussing these two steps. The further steps we are going to discuss in the coming videos. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, leave in the comment. I will definitely answer your questions. If you like the video, share it and subscribe this channel so that you can get to know about the coming videos. I will be constantly making the videos to cover your whole syllabus. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.